Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Today I'm going to be addressing a pond problem. I went out this spring as usual and checked on the fish, and they were piping, which is where they stick their mouths out of the water and it looks like they're gasping for air. There are several reasons as to why they do it, but mine are doing it probably, well, most likely because of a plant problem. When you have plants in your pond, they take a lot of oxygen at night but put out a lot of oxygen during the day. So usually in the morning when I wake up and go check on the pond, that's when they're piping. That's where I'm coming up with the conclusion that it's too many plants in the pond. I didn't clean it out this spring like I usually do. Now that the pond's about 5 or 6 years old, it has its own ecosystem, so I don't have to feed the fish. They eat the algae and the mosquito larvae or bug larvae that grow in the pond, bugs that fall in, and so on and so forth. For the first 2 years I had to feed them, and because they didn't have the algae buildup that they have now. So when I noticed this piping going on, and it didn't stop in the spring when all the plants are growing and there's an adjustment period, and it continued into the summer, I knew that they were stressed. So what I did is I went out there and I started removing plants. So I'm going to show you the process of me getting rid of some of the plants, what is living inside of my and what's living inside of my pond right now, and how the fish are doing before versus after. Unfortunately, I cannot find the video of when they were piping, but I'll see if I can't find some video here on the internet and just kind of insert it. So let's get out there and clean this pond out. We'll see how the fish are doing after a couple of days. Good morning. It's about 6:30 in the morning and I'm out here at the pond. And for those of you who are new here, I'll show you where I am according to the house. I've been out here working in the garden, trimming my mint that I use as a hedge. This is the front of my house. Hang on. I live on a very noisy road, so the majority of this video is going to be music. But my fish are struggling. They're not doing it as bad this morning as they have been previously, because we had several inches of rain last night and it filled the pond. But my fish are doing what's called piping. And after some research, I have discovered that I may have too many plants in here. Now, plants do give oxygen during the day, but at night they absorb a lot. So early in the mornings, right around sunrise, is when the fish struggle, because that's when the least amount of oxygen is in this pond. And that includes algae. Algae can also take oxygen out of your pond as well. So what I have to do is thin. My hummingbird is right there. Holy moly. I don't know if you can see it. It's so low light. But she'll come out in a second. Any rate, there she is. See her? Alright, squirrel. So what I have to do is I have to get in here and take some of these water hyacinths. I'm leaving the lily, but I also have mint growing in here. I grow mint in my yard as a hedge, a low hedge. That is mint. I have some Mexican petunias growing in here. My palm tree is encroaching on the pond as well, so I've got to cut it. I also have to fix my spitter. It's not spitting as well as it should. I think it's clogged on the inside, so I took the hose out and just let it spray into the pond. The filter needs to be cleaned too, because this usually jets way over here. So I'm going to have to play music because it's so loud. And I'll try to get as much close-up shots as I can, but I've really got to get most of this out to leave the top of it covered, but not so dense, because I don't want the water to heat up. Kind of scared of me right now because I got a camera in my hand, but usually they're right here wanting me to feed them. But let's get this done. For those of you who follow me, if you're wondering where Oliver is, he's got a cone on his head. He's got a sore on his bum and he won't leave it alone. sorry. I'm sorry, baby. I know. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the plants out, put them on the side of the pond. I just do a chop and drop kind of thing, and that way if there's any animals in these plants, they can get out safely. And for those of you who do not know, this is a water hyacinth, and it creates these little bulbs that have air in it, which helps the plant float. And these roots help filter the pond. They also clog up your filter when the roots die off, but it's a good plant. It's mostly hollow and full of air, but it's a good plant. It's got really pretty purple blooms, but I gotta lay these at the base of other plants to feed it because I don't just let them rot down. Get this mint out. See, the mint is just growing in the pond, in the water. This out in the lawn, so when I mow it just chops it all up, feeds the lawn. Checking for snails. This mint is just growing straight in the water. Amazing. I'm gonna need a shower after this for sure. So let's get over here, get that spitter, and fix the filter while I'm here. You know, you really could make this easier to get off. Spitter is probably clogged, so I'm going to go ahead and get it, take it out to the back into the utility sink and get it fixed. And I'm just going to leave this spitting out here. He or she was all in that, all those roots and stuff, but she must have died. I'm just going to call it a she. Must have died yesterday because I fed her day before yesterday. There was way too much oxygen being sucked out of this pond. It needed to be tended to. That's why it's anaerobic. That's why all the fish are hanging out over here near the spitter. I'm gonna throw this out for the cats. That's why the fish are around the spitter, is because that's where all the oxygen is being created. So now that I've thinned it out, not as much oxygen is going to be taken out of the pond during the night, and the fish will be able to breathe. Let's go ahead and get the spitter out. That thing is 100% concrete. It is heavy. Now, I don't want to wash the patina off. So all I'm going to do is just clean the inside of this spitter. And I have a tool that I've used for years. It's been here since my grandmother was alive, and she died in 15. Anyway, woo boy. I don't want to get rid of this little fern, because I mean the fern, you know, I like the patina. Let's get down here and see if this is clogged in any way. Really get down in there. Wow. There's stuff coming out of the bottom. I don't know if you can see that or not. all the way around. You don't want to use any chemicals on this at all. And really nothing is coming out of that. Let's flip it over, because here's the tube. Oh, I thought those were fish eggs. Here's the tube. The tube looks pretty clean. Well, yeah, the tube is clean. Let's see. Let's look down in the frog's mouth. See if any water comes out. I think I may have to get another hose. I think this is way too kinked. Yeah. Well, there may be something down. Well, there may be a little something, but I think this is too kinked. It has been in there for 5 years, guys. I've had this system for 5 years. And I think it just got kinked right here. So let's, there we go. Now the water's flowing. So now just stick it right back in there. And let's see how the water comes out of his mouth now. There it goes. I think it's just the hose is kinked right where I put it in. See that? The hose gets kinked where it goes in. And I think that's what the problem is. Really? Yeah, there's stuff coming out of his mouth. Okay. So I'm going to spin this pipe cleaner, as I call it. And then, yeah, it was a little dirty. I can't get any more water pressure than this. I really could use some help from somebody who knows how I can get more water pressure to this sink back here, because this is both valves wide open. We cleaned the inside of the spitter, and I cleaned the hose, which is kinked a little, so I'll just switch it around, see if I can't get it to work another way. Because the spitter sits on a milk crate that you can't see. And the milk crate is on its side, so an opening is there. So if a stork or a heron or something comes in the yard and wants to eat the fish, they can go inside of that crate, which is just a fish cave. We'll reconnect this. So let me go ahead and put this out there. Oh, look at here. Look what I found. Look. This is why you throw everything on the side of the pond. This is why you don't throw it in a garbage can. That's why you don't, I mean, this right here is the reason why you put stuff on the side of the pond and not in a trash can. So I'm going to do is I'm going to keep her safe, or it safe, whatever it is. And I'm going to put it, let's put it in the shade over here. This snail will find its way back in. But let's put it closer to the pond and let's hide it real good, because the birds, whoops, come here. I don't want the birds, there we go. I don't want the birds to come down and get it. Everything looks a lot better. You see how the pond is still covered. It's going to have dapple light going in through it now, and now it won't get so anaerobic because it can breathe. I'm going to go ahead and reinstall the spitter and see if it functions properly. And hopefully in the next couple of days this will auto-correct. But things look a lot better. The fish are down there in the fish cave. You see that milk crate right there? That's what the spitter sits on, and that's where the fish can go in and out to get away from predators. And the dead fish was right here. Let's back up. The dead fish was like right here. And that's what was making the pond stink. I've had this pond for almost 6 years now, and I cleaned it out one time because I didn't know any better. But this whole pond is self-sustaining. I don't have to feed the fish. I don't have to do anything but clean it out every now and then, as you just saw. Just thin out the plants so they don't take all the oxygen, and just get out the foreign weed. Every now and then come out here and thin the water hyacinths out. You need it to cover the water to keep the water cool and give a place for the fish to hide and things to feed off of. So what I'm going to do is clean up some mint right there and reinstall the spitter. So let's get that done. So for right now, what I want to do is really let that water flush out. And the fish pond is rearranged for the time being. It's the only way I can reach that little piece of tubing. So it's just going to have to stay like this for the rest of the day. But you saw how I hooked it up. And it spits a lot better when just the hose poking out. So I don't know what I'm going to do about that. I don't know if I'm just going to leave it like this because I like it better. I can hear it better. I don't know what it is, but the frog used to do that. It used to be very loud, but it's just not loud anymore. I hate I lost my fish. That was a good fish. That fish was probably about 4 years old. But having said that, it looks better. It's going to smell better here pretty soon. The fish still have a place to hide. They'll have more oxygen. In all the years I've had this pond, I've only lost 3 fish. And it was to a situation like this. So having a pond almost 6 years and only having 3 fish died, I think I'm doing pretty good. Like I said, I don't do anything to this pond but clean it out occasionally when something like this happens. And I've only actually cleaned it out once. That's before I knew what I was doing. But I don't have to feed my fish. I did the first year. And then once the pond got established and had its own ecosystem, I never had to feed the fish. Never had to tend to this pond outside of just thinning out the water hyacinth. And as you saw, getting out stuff that isn't supposed to be growing in here. But this water is so fertile that anything will grow in it, just about. I take my watering can and dip it in here and get pond water and feed my plants, and they absolutely love it. They just flourish. So there's several reasons to have a pond. It's for the wildlife, of course, the sound of the water. You just wouldn't believe what comes when you put in even a smaller version of a wildlife pond. I don't care if it's an old bucket. The insects, yes, I have snakes that come and visit, but mine aren't venomous. I have garter snakes and black racers, things like that. Birds come, bees, butterflies, snails. I mean, this is probably one of my better ideas for my yard. But I'm going to let you go. The sun's coming out. It's starting to get hot. I got to go check on Oliver. And like I said, all of the stuff that I pulled out is on the side. You saw the snail. And it's already starting to cruise down that branch right there to get back in the pond. Let's go look real quick and then I'll call it a video. You saw me put that snail about 10 minutes ago. You saw me put that snail and hide it, and that snail is going right back to the water. Again, when you clean out your pond, let's just thin it out. Don't completely take everything out. The water will get too hot and the fish will die. And put it on the side of the pond and things will crawl back in. Oops. But at any rate, I'm glad you were here, and if this thing blooms today, I'll put it at the end of the video. If it doesn't, you know it didn't bloom. And I will give you an update in a couple of days. Their color's good. The water's really clearing up. You can really see the milk crate underneath the spitter over there. Actually had a water hyacinth bloom yesterday. It doesn't smell anaerobic. So I'm going to call this project good. Here comes one of my big ones. So I'm going to call this project a success, and stay tuned as I give you probably a spring update, because it's July of 2025 and it's July of 2025, so come back in the spring of 26 and we'll see how they're doing.